There you go. Welcome back to the show. 138 at News Talk 1010. You know, Bill King, that rolling keyboard you talked about.
Man,
you made it sound like there was a guitar playing there as well.
Oh wait, what's it going? You are just...
There is a guitar playing.
Oh man, there's some comedy in the room.
We've got. You know what? I'm very happy for our next guest, who's about to be made very, very happy. Jordan John. You may have seen him. He opened last summer here in Toronto for Aretha Franklin at the big jazz festival. Also sang the U.S. Open at the Toronto Indy. At the Honda Indy.
Yes, he did.
And has worked with, well, you name it, Jeff Healey, Burton Cummings. You jammed on the drums with Prince when you were 16?
Yes, sir.
How the hell did you get that opportunity?
Oh, we were at a club on Blues on Bel Air. I was playing with my father and his rhythm section.
And we should point out that your dad's very well known as well, Prakash John.
Yes.
Yes.
John, bassist extraordinaire and father extraordinaire.
There you go.
And
we were
also as a drummer, he's unfreaking real.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Thank you. My manager, Bill King, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. And about to sign with David Foster. Well, you don't get any bigger than that, I don't think.
No, that is a...
that is terrific. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That is...
wow.
Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's based on a video that he saw of you opening for Aretha?
Yes.
At least in part?
Yes. Largely in part thanks to David Foster's first wife, B.J. Cook, who passed along a video clip of us opening for the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, at the Toronto Jazz Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And when David saw it, the day after he took over as chairman of Verve Universal Records, he gave my father a call and invited us down for a meeting. He wanted to spend some time with me for a couple days, so we flew down and met him at the Universal head office in Los Angeles and sat down. He said, all right, I'm going to cut to the chase. He said, I've seen and heard some stuff that you've been doing, and I think you're really talented, and I'd like to work with you. So.
Well, he kind of helped out a guy named Bublé a little bit, didn't he?
Yes, Michael Bublé. You may have heard of him.
Yes, I have heard of him. I think on a daily basis, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Well, that's great news.
Thank you.
That's terrific.
Thank
I'm
you
really
very much,
glad to hear that. And a Canadian on top of that, both of you.
Yeah, well, I'm very proud to be Canadian, and it feels great to be validated as both a musician and a Canadian on a world stage. So very excited and very happy to be.
Yeah, terrific.
So
you're playing the guitar here, but you play bass as well. You play keyboards and you play drums.
Yes,
top of
that is correct. Yes, my first instrument, my native instrument, if you will, is drums, and I got started on that when I was 13 years old.
Obviously, your dad's career as a musician played a big role.
Heavily
here.
influenced, but much to the dismay of my parents, they when I told them I wanted to be a musician, it was a bit of a struggle, just knowing my father, especially knowing the lifestyle and how intense and difficult the journey is.
Sure. Well, and you can understand. I mean, I think that most parents would be, although they'd be happy for their for the kids' talents. It's you'll always look for something for your kids. You think, well, man, I just can you get something stable? It's like my parents weren't happy all that thrilled when I got into radio, right? Because it's there's not exactly a lot of stability here, and boy, did I prove them right. So, but it's good for you. You obviously you have an awful lot of talent because you can't fool a guy like Foster.
Well, you know, the fantastic thing about coming from a supportive family is that that you get the encouragement and the foundation of how to grow up to be a good person and a well-rounded individual. And when you can do it in the comforts of your hometown in a safe country like Canada, in Toronto, it's fantastic. Canada is probably the greatest rehearsal hall in the world because it's safe and it's stable. People aren't going to throw you under the bus, and free health care, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you think of all the great musicians that we've developed in this country.
Yeah, Toronto talent, Canadian talent, honestly, is second to none. And that's proven on a regular basis, be it comedy, music, athletics, just constant influx of talent, Canadian talent, all over the world.
Yeah.
It's fantastic to see.
So, what kind of a musician would you describe yourself as? I mean, sort of a jazzy, bluesy, or do you kind of not put a label on yourself? And I hate putting labels on.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'm a music enthusiast, a music lover first and foremost.
Right.
And,
so who's on like your list of favorite tunes and DVDs and CDs?
Big influences I can just think of off the top of my head. There's so many and so many varieties, but I could think of Aretha Franklin, Prince, James Taylor, Vince Gill, Bonnie Raitt.
That's an interesting mix.
Oscar Peterson, Nat King Cole, Billy Preston, Bryan Adams. I could go on for days. The new bands, I could say Kings of Leon, Black Keys. There's just so much. Blues artists, B.B. King. Gospel, James Cleveland, and so on and so on.
And so, of all the people that you've worked with, who is sort of most inspirational or most awesome or awe-inspiring for you? Would it have been working with Prince, or would it have been working with Aretha? Or
well, those are
can't
probably
really say one is better than the other.
No, those are probably the two biggest. Those are the two biggest. I mean, playing with Prince was incredible, and then seeing him a couple years later when I graduated from high school, we went down with my cousins to the Boston Garden. He was on the musicology tour, and I went to see him, and one of my favorite drummers, John Blackwell Jr., was playing with him, and I could not wait as a drummer to go and see him. And when I left that show, that was the turning point for me to start singing and playing guitar, because I saw his show and I was speechless for days.
Yeah.
That turned the tide. But opening for Aretha Franklin, I have to say, was probably just the biggest
Probably the
thrill.
biggest crowd if you've worked in front of that.
Yeah, that would be fair to say. Absolutely.
Like 30,000 people there, Bill?
Yeah, something like 20,000 plus, I think. It was fantastic, and to do it in my hometown of Toronto was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, no kidding. Good for you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, come back with Jordan John. What are you going to play for us?
We're going to play blues standard, Bill King and I, a little Worried Life Blues.
All right, stay tuned for that. 1:45 at News Talk 10.